Hello, everyone. First of all, I just want to thank you all for this opportunity to present some information on sustainable practices in Australia's ports industry. So this presentation will be delivered by myself, Don, as well as Jagjit, Naresh, and Pradeep. So this is the structure that our presentation will follow. I will be delivering the introduction section as well as the appraisal section, where I will detail some of the effective uses of sustainability practices in this industry. Jagjit will then take us through some of the counter arguments, where he will detail some of the inadequacies of the sustainability practice. Pradeep will then provide us with some suggestions of areas where sustainability practice can be improved in this industry. And then finally, Naresh will sum up our findings in the conclusion. So we begin by asking ourselves the question, what is a sustainable business? A sustainable business is a business that operates while having little or no impact on the environment. Sustainable businesses strive to meet the triple bottom line of environmental, economic, and social factors. It should be noted that doing so can help enhance the performance of an organisation. Typically, a sustainable business will develop policies and procedures that support these sustainability initiatives. So in this presentation, we will focus on the key points made in this research paper, Environmental Management Systems and Firm Performance, Improving Firm Environmental Policy Through Stakeholder Engagement. So the key points made in this paper are that implementing an environmental management system can lead to efficiencies being realised throughout the organisation. It can also which will lead to savings, and it can also lead to improvement in productivity levels, and can also act as a driver of innovation. So environmental management system can also help improve the organisation's corporate green corporate image, and this provided that these initiatives and achievements are effectively communicated to the stakeholders. This can play a role in enhancing those stakeholder relationships. It should also be noted that sustainability initiatives can help organisations to better prepare for future challenges related to things like resource scarcity. And finally, results can vary from one organisation to another, depending on the effectiveness of the development and implementation of sustainability initiatives, as well as the availability of the required resources. So the aim of this presentation is to assess the effectiveness of sustainability practice in the Australian ports industry. So our discussion will be broken up into three sections, as mentioned above, and those are appraisals, critical analysis, and suggestions for improvement.
And that was far better than the previous take.
Right, so in this section we will be focusing on the New South Wales Ports Authority. The New South Wales Ports Authority has a history of effectively developing and implementing sustainability initiatives. So the New South Wales Ports Authority has undertaken a number of initiatives to engage with its stakeholders, both to receive feedback and also to promote its sustainability initiatives. So mechanisms used by this organisation for that purpose include the Community Consultative Committee, the Botany Bay Neighbourhood Liaison Group, and the Glebe Island White Bay Community Liaison Group. The organisation is also involved with the Sydney Ports Jazz on the Water concert, as well as the Australia Day Council of New South Wales. It is able to use those events as well to promote its sustainability achievements. So the New South Wales Ports Authority is involved in some events that may be termed as greenwashing, for example, Clean Up Australia Day and Earth Hour. However, it has also undertaken some more substantial sustainability initiatives, most notably the development of a corporate social responsibility strategy, as well as the development of its document Green Port Guidelines. So this document sets out how the roles and responsibilities of its internal stakeholders will be affected by these sustainability changes. So such efforts being undertaken by the organisation would both boost the morale of the workforce as well as improving its corporate green corporate image. And this is likely to lead to higher productivity as well as creating the potential for more investment from its external stakeholders, in this case the state and federal governments. This organisation has also undertaken some changes to its production value chain. For example, it has developed and implemented rail transport KPIs, and it has also established a rail operations coordination centre. So these efforts would enable the organisation to both improve its economic performance while at the same time lowering its carbon footprint. And now I hand you over to Jagjit for a look at some of the inadequacies of the approach to sustainability practice in Australian ports.
Thank you, Don. Now moving on to the critical analysis of the port sustainability in Australia. So many of the ports and shipping operations in Australia are located close to the environmental sensitive areas, and they lead to the environmental imbalance and issues. For example, we can take Melbourne Port that is situated on the bank of the River Yarra. So the most complex problems among all are faced by the port authorities of Queensland, as it is very close, as it is in close proximity to the Great Barrier Reef. The guidelines adopted by the Queensland Port focus only on the obligations of the port authorities to maintain the sustainability of the environment rather than participating itself in the ongoing process. And there is a perceived leak of consultation between the maritime industry and agencies involved in the developing the regulatory framework. And this is a real challenge in itself to maintain the economic viability and the competitiveness of the Australian ports, and a desire to maintain the feasibility of the marine environment. So between the period of these 2 years, between the year 1993 and 1995, the government has implemented stringent environmental policies, the guidelines, but their concern of the environmental impact may not be fully understood. So moving on to minimizing the environmental footprint. So minimizing the environmental footprint while ensuring safe and efficient trade by building infrastructure such as valves, channels, and internal rail and road connectivity is a real challenging task, and both these two things cannot be done at once at similar time. So the significant growth of the bulk of the export of the bulk resources such as iron, coal and LNG in Queensland, Sydney and the different parts of Western Australia, they will require major dredging operations, and they will also require development of new cargo specific facilities. So as we move on to construction of these new cargo facilities, we will keep in danger the high value habitat. For example, we can take the sea grass and corals, so they might be lost in this process. So in spite of great deal of attention being paid to the coastal region in Australia by the research Resource Assessment Commission, and the Commonwealth, the release of the Commonwealth Coastal Policy in the year 1995, little attention has been paid to the ports as a center of the as an industrial activity in the coastal zone. So this is an idea that need to be understood for the maintaining the sustainability of the Australian ports. And though the port authorities and shipping industry are concerned about the ballast water management, the water reception facilities, and dumping of dredge soil. So we will have to take care of these three things, as this will be an unequitable loss to the maritime environment. So moving on to the last point I want to discuss is the port waste reception and disposable facilities for garbage, sewage, oil, and oil waste are required as an important means of reducing the marine pollution. But unfortunately, a number of Australian ports has been lacking the adequate water disposable facilities. So now moving on to Pradeep, we will here discuss some more of the points regarding this present.
Thanks, Ajit. I'll explain about the suggestions for the improvement. Prevention is better than cure. We will try to relate this with the development of the port. It means that we should stop developing the port, but which is actually practically impossible because we need to grow. But later on, what will happen? Okay, we will grow and we have to develop the port. We will try to cure whatever the damage we are doing it to the ecology. For this development of the port, we need location, transportation, and rehabilitation. We will discuss all these things in detail. Location, we need to select the location which is unfertile land, and nothing much can be done on that one. So which doesn't cause more damage to the ecology. Second is the transportation. Transportation is we have to transport the shipping material to the warehouse, and from warehouse to the main city. So this has to be done in a proper way where already existing roads and everything is there. The existing infrastructure, we need to reuse it instead of cutting and all these things going into the forest. And secondly, we need to optimize the transportation system. The road routes and everything, we have to use it in an optimal way. And the third one is rehabilitate. We should select the location of the port that where less number of people are there, so that we need not to relocate them to a new place, because it is very difficult when the human beings are there. They already are living a sustainable life over there, and it is difficult for them to move from one place to another place.